Welcome everybody back to another edition of the Tech Woke Podcast. And on this podcast, we talk about cyber career life. And on this podcast, I have somebody that I look up to in the tech space, somebody that's been killing it, full of energy, dominant on Instagram, TikTok, soon YouTube. He's just a fireball of energy. His name is Laurentius Henry. His name that he goes by is Ace. I was introduced to this young man a while ago at GovTech Con, and when I first met him, I was like, who is this guy? Like, this dude's getting me powered up. He's getting everybody powered up. And the one thing about him, just to give him his flowers on camera, like this, he helps so many people behind the scenes, calling people when they're sick, when they're down. He helps so many people get into space. But without further ado, man, hey, Ace, how you doing, brother?
How you guys doing? First of all, Chris, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. Listen, I've been watching him blowing up from when he went to 2,000 subscribers on YouTube up to now 8, about to be 9. Next thing you know, when you're at 900,000, bro, don't forget me, please, bro. Don't forget me out there. You know what I'm saying? But how you guys doing? I'm just super blessed to be on this podcast, man. I'm just love to share, and you guys we got a treat for you guys. Don't even worry about it. We got a treat for you guys.
Yeah, most definitely. And this is good to have you on, man, bro. You like watching you from afar, man. Like, dude, you don't understand how many people. But again, like you always say, all glory to God. Amen. But just to kind of get people just to give a brief background, who you are and what you currently do.
Yeah, no problem. So my name is Ace. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran. A little bit of background on me. Again, served in the military, continued on. I've been in the defense space since I was 19 years old, 25 now. Went to college, got my bachelor's, my master's. I'm in school again right now for my second master's. And what was the final one? I'm sorry.
This who you are. Just explain who you are, like what you did.
Oh yeah, that's me. And outside of that, some of the biggest things is, I'm in the GovTech space. A lot of how people break into the space. A lot of people don't know about. Like, for example, everybody knows Big Fang. Everybody knows the Amazons, the Googles, the Teslas, the Anthropics. But people don't know about this hidden space that people never even think about looking towards, on how a lot of things is in this space that people can benefit from, and also the value of a security clearance.
Yeah, and we definitely gonna get into it, Ace. And just kind of break it down. Okay, so Ace, when did you first hear about GovTech, and how did you start making the transition into the space for yourself?
Yeah, no problem. So I first heard about it when I was actually in the military. I was actually super blessed to not really be able to do my job too much, like my actual job. And then from there, just kind of got to work with some of the guys that were in cyber while I was in there. And then one of my buddies, his name was Dave, when he was a contractor there. And, obviously, I'm trying to, when you're in, you usually work with a lot of contractors sometimes. So, I'm over here talking to him. I'm like, he's putting me on game. He's like, yo, man, here's this, here's that, here's the, because when you first start, you don't know what a DOD 8570 is. You don't know these things. People just say, hey, you're going to go get this. You're going to go get this. Why? Because that's what they tell you to do. He showed me, he broke it down for me, right? Initially. And then from there, I found Simone, and I was like, dang, working with this guy, you don't really see him too much. You know what I'm saying? You do, but you don't. But like when you getting out, I'm like, okay, what am I about to do?
So and that's how it is, man. Because like even me, Ace, let me tell you something. Like even me, I had a clearance. I got an accidental clearance. I didn't even know what it was. And then when I found out the true value of it, and again, like you probably didn't even know at the time, and you was like, "What you gonna do?" You're like, "Oh, I make 6 figures with this." So it's like, bro, like, come on.
Yeah, no idea what a security clearance was. I joined the military because I was 19, and the reason I even joined the military in the first place because I lost a basketball game. I kid you not. 15. I lost a basketball game, 15-0, and I had to enlist. I went down there that same day, and I went in there. I was like, all right, I'm joining.
You know what? I got respect for you. You a loyal dude. You loyal and you keep your word. Like I was like, when you first told me that, I was like, oh, you lost. I said, man, F this. But hey, it ended up being a blessing.
Facts. I never made a bet since. Never made another bet since.
Can you explain to me, Ace, like what is GovTech? Like what is it? Everybody keep hearing this term. What is it?
So GovTech is just tech in the government sector, right? So for example, anything that you can think is in the private sector is in GovTech. Software engineers are on both sides. IAM engineers, it's me. I'm in identity and access management myself. IAM is on both sides. Red team is on both sides. The only difference is that there's certain positions in order to touch certain systems, you have to get what's called a security clearance. The only way for you to get a security clearance is literally a government agency has to sponsor you, or you go to the military. It's the only two ways.
And that's to sum it up. You just have to get a clearance to get into space. I mean, do you think like anybody can get into space, or you think like you just have a clean record, or what's your thoughts on that, Ace?
So the cleaner the record, the easier it's going to be to get a clearance. In theory, the only requirement, bona fide requirement is you have to be a U.S. citizen. Anything else past that, that's a different ball game. That comes to the investigations and things along that nature. However, you genuinely just have to be a U.S. citizen at minimum. That's the only requirement to get a clearance.
And that's the main thing. Just keep your record clean, and then once you get this clearance, it can make it so that you can make you can make a lot of money. You can upgrade because it's very micro to even get into GovTech, right? Yeah. What I mean by that, like, is like, okay, only a certain amount of people have clearances, top secret SCI. So it's just no matter what, you'll always be employed because it's expensive to even get one, even get cleared for one. So most definitely agree on that.
Because you got to think about it in the employee sector, right? Number one, there's probably like only about 1% of Americans that have a security clearance. And remember, that's 1% of Americans in general. That's because remember, for example, one of the biggest websites that has cleared roles is Clearance Jobs. Clearance Jobs is not Clearance Tech Jobs. It's not Clearance Business Jobs. It's Clearance Jobs. There's a whole bunch of different categories on Clearance Jobs, from business, chemical engineers, electrical engineers, physical security. And now you're going to talk about specifically within tech. Now, I'll put it like this in a recruiter's perspective, right? Imagine you're a recruiter. You have to find somebody that has that specific skill set, wanting to work in that specific area for that specific salary, and most importantly, having that specific clearance level, and depending on the company, having that degree. So now imagine you're a person with those, say you have all of those qualities, you are very, very sought after. And I'll say, for example, I know some people that's, from GovTech to private sector. You having a clearance on a private sector is like, hey, obviously, like, for example, for certain background checks, some companies like, hey, you got a clearance. Obviously, you could trust him with X, Y, and Z because you've been vetted already by the government.
Yeah, and it just shows you how valuable it is. Can you break down what are the different types of clearances? Like, is there just one clearance or there's multiple clearances?
So there's different types of clearances, all varying in difficulty to obtain, pretty much of how scrutinized the investigation is. It starts from public trust. Public trust is a clearance depending on who you ask. I just say, listen, it's on Clearance Jobs, so put the clearance on there. It's clearance. You have public trust, and then, first you have confidential, then you have public trust, and then where it really starts at is secret. Where it really starts as secret. From there, you have top secret. Then you have different variations of top secret. TS. I'm gonna use the abbreviation for top secret as TS. You have TS, TSSCI. SCI portion is the sensitive compartmentalized information. Then you have TSSCI with CI poly, counterintelligence poly, and TSSCI with FSP, which is a full scope polygraph. And then the highest clearance you possibly have is a Yankee White. And if you have a Yankee White, you're working in the White House.
Yeah, straight up. And does the clearances affect like how much money you make? Like if you have a secret, top secret, or Yankee White, that's like, man, you making bank.
Yeah. So listen, you can make some ridiculous amount of money. Like, quite frankly, I put it like this: the average salary with somebody with a secret clearance alone is like over $100,000 with a secret clearance. And remember, I never said average tech salary with a secret clearance. An average salary with a secret clearance is over $100,000. So now imagine in the tech specific niche with those specific skills with that clearance, just go ahead and bump that up. And obviously the higher the clearance level is, the more you could demand, because, hey, listen, for example, there's not a lot of people who want to go for a polygraph. So people with polygraphs are getting crazy amounts of money. Even at a TS level, people are getting like people with degrees, TS, and some experience, like specialized experience. It's not uncommon to be in the 200K plus. It's not uncommon at all.
It's not uncommon. It's not uncommon. Yeah, I've seen it myself. Even at a young age, I was at you don't know this age. I was at your age when I first made my first six figures. So I was like, sometimes it takes your whole career to get to that point. So you ain't lying about it. And I ain't, whatever Ace saying, he is telling the truth. You do got to put some work into it though.
Oh yeah.
But Ace, can you kind of break into this? Like, where do you look for jobs? Are you going clearance jobs? Or Indeed, where are you trying to find? Say if I'm just a new person trying to get into the space, where am I trying to find these jobs from?
So the biggest websites you can find these cleared work are number one, dice.com, and number two, clearance jobs. Actually, reverse that. Number one, clearance jobs. Number two, dice.com. Number three is LinkedIn. Number four is the employer sites. You know, if you want to sit here and go find the jobs, go on clearance jobs. However, I'm going to give you a little gem right here. If you're going to look for roles, in order for you to make a clearance jobs account, you have to have a clearance. If you don't have a clearance, there's another process you're going to go through. You know, you go to clearance jobs and it'll tell you exactly what you got to do. But the biggest thing you got to do, go on clearance jobs, find those companies, find the job that you want, but always apply on the company website. Always apply on the company website. Why? You just get more traction. And then from there, go find a recruiter on LinkedIn. Go talk to them. Because remember, recruiter's job is to do what? Fill roles. Talk to the recruiter. Tell them your credentials. Give them a little brief rundown of who you are, how do you fit this role, and then boom. Now it turns the job application from 1v500 people that applied to now potentially 1v1, because now it's you and the recruiter, they're having a direct conversation. And if they're not the ones who hiring for that role, guess what? They may know somebody, and now it's really going to be a 1v1 because now it's two internal recruiters talking to each other, and they may just get you you into that position.
Man, that's and make sure y'all listen to what this man's saying. Also, too, Ace, like a lot of people that's trying to get a clearance, are you looking to it to say will sponsor, or do you think people just apply? Do you think you should apply or look for a sponsor?
So listen, do not just apply for the most part. Listen, I will tell you this: when you're going to clearance jobs, look for roles that say willing to, ability to obtain, or willing to obtain, something along that nature, and it will tell you all different jobs that's going to be sponsored clearances. However, just make sure you go in there and go look at the specific jobs, because sometimes if you type in ability to obtain, it will show you jobs that are ability to obtain secret to a TS or a TS to a poly or something along that nature. So just make sure you go click the jobs.
Yeah, most definitely. And then also, Ace, you got to keep in mind for this audience, they don't even know what government contracting companies. Just drop a few gems for me. What are some companies some people might want to apply for? Is it Booz Allen or whatever? Just go ahead, Ace. Go ahead.
It all depends. We talking CONUS or OCONUS, because we even get OCONUS.
That's a whole different situation. I'm curious myself, but go ahead.
Yeah, so some of the big defense contractor companies that people heard of are your Lockheed Martins, your Base Systems, your Booz Allen Hamiltons, your L3 Harrises, your Enduros, your Palantirs, things along that nature. And what these companies are, here's the thing. All that they are is regular companies that happen to have defense contracts. That's all it is. It's just regular companies that happen to have defense contracts that support the government. Because there's a difference between being a federal worker and a government contractor. A federal worker, you're working directly for the federal government on some type of pay scale from GS 1 to GS 15 through all the step 1 through step 10, versus government contractor, you're working for these direct companies who happen to be supporting the government on whatever program that it is.
Okay. And you said something about CONUS and CONUS. What you mean by that? I'm curious about that. What's that?
So listen, there's two types of work you could do, right? You have CONUS work, it's anything in the continental United States, and then OCONUS, which is pretty much overseas government contracting. Overseas government contracting is a cheat code to wealth, because listen, when you're doing overseas government contracting, right, they'll put you up in, for example, they'll put you in a place where, you know, there's a lot of different places they can send you. You have Germany, you have Japan, you have Taiwan, you have Guam, you have pretty much all around Europe too. And the thing about it is these government contracting companies will pay you to go over there, right? They'll pay your salary. They give you a whole bunch of different types of extra pay sometimes. You know, depending on where you are, you have your hardship pays, your pay differential, your uplifts. Long story short, there's different types of pay, right? And sometimes where you're going, it could be per diem. You guys know what per diem is, right? And the thing about it, which is, I tell you guys, the cheat code of life, because they'll pay for all your expenses out there. They'll put you in a company housing. Shoot, I've had an offer where they'll put me in a company house. There's going to give me a company apartment, 2-bed, 2-bath apartment, no roommate, company car, vacation allowance, 30 days of PTO. Yes, 30 days. That's military type PTO, 30 days of PTO. And here's the thing. The reason it's a cheat code is because guess what? It's something called the FEIE, Foreign Earned Income Exclusion, up to $132,900 tax-free. And think about it. Everything is not taxable in the first place.
Yeah. Man, that saved me money on taxes. If I ever get one of those, but so Ace, like, and this is what I do here all the time, and I've done it in the past. So I found that the cheat code to applying overseas is just go directly on the website and just filter it. Is that true, or how would you look for a job that's overseas in government country space?
So it all depends. I always tell people, look, if you're going to look for jobs overseas, if you can look for primes on those contracts, because if you've never been on a prime versus a sub, the difference between the two is prime is the company who actually owns the contracts. Subcontractors are just who the prime on the contract subs certain positions out to pretty much help with staffing and stuff. The best OCONUS roles are going to be internal at big companies. It's not the best internal roles are going to be those internal roles. I had a buddy at a big defense contracting company who he went to he did overseas in Tokyo.
Oh man, not Tokyo. I'm an anime fan, so
listen, he did overseas in Tokyo for a year. I said for a year. He said, yeah, man, it wasn't for him. Again, OCONUS is not for everybody, but some people make their entire careers being out there OCONUS.
Yeah, it's a secret wealth because of the taxes. You can save money. You're not paying rent. So at the end of the day, man, like you're collect. It's a cheat code, low key. Like especially when you're younger. Like if you can knock it out or get used to it. I mean, I would do it. I mean, go to Kuwait, these different types of places. So hey, Ace, hey, you ain't speaking nothing but gems right here, man.
Thank you.
So Ace, like when it comes to government contract, you said the 85. You was talking about the 8540 or 8510. It's requirement of a security plus to get into the GovTech space. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what certifications can help get you into space? You just need a security plus? I've been getting by with a security plus for almost 7 years.
So yeah. So in theory, if you want to be technical, the DoD 8570, you need to be IAT level 2 compliant. You don't need security plus. But if you don't want security plus, you're going to have to go take things like CCNA security and stuff like that. And I promise you don't want to go take that. The easiest one on there relatively to the skill level is security plus, right? You need to be IAT level 2 compliant. The reason is because that when you're compliant like that, as sort of government, you will be able to have access to root level privileges. That's the reason. That's one of the biggest reasons you see people push security plus is because one, it's a compliance. It is compliance. There's no one thing about the government is compliance. You have to be in compliance. If not, people get fined and the government fines a lot of money.
Yeah.
Promise. Now, certain positions, all you really need sometimes is security plus. Generally, certain positions, all you need is security plus. The only time sometimes you may need something more, like for example, that people want to be in cyber, you're going to have to go get things potentially like CEH or CYSA or CFR. Right? Reason is because you have to support something called a CSSP, which is a cybersecurity service provider. If you want to do some type of SOC work or things like that, you're going to need that certification. Why? Compliance. It's a non-negotiable. You can have CISSP. You have CISSP, which is the gold standard certification for the cyberspace overall. Not to talk about position-wise, but overall. If you're not IAT level 2 compliant, you can't touch those systems.
I think that's where you got I put a post a while back about the security plus. And then this one guy literally said that. I was like, this is crazy. How you got a whole CSSP and you can't? And then again, I work in compliance, so you have to be in compliance with that. So I agree. And people always doubt the security plus. I always tell them just get that and figure it out.
Facts. Just get it, because you gotta think about it, especially being big. If you're new into this space and you're trying to break in, we tell you guys get security plus all the time, because number one, everybody doesn't have security plus. And another big cheat code I'm gonna tell you guys is go live in the middle of nowhere. Please. You think I'm joking? The more you're willing to live in a place that nobody wants to, the better your chances of breaking in and getting a job sponsoring the clearance becomes. Like for example, one place I talk about very much is Sierra Vista, Arizona.
Oh, you speaking nothing but gems. But go ahead. I found out some things about Arizona recently. Go ahead.
Yeah, listen, Sierra Vista, Arizona, right? A place nobody ever wants to live. Nobody wants to live in Sierra Vista, Arizona. But guess what? There's a big old army base down there. And if nobody wants to live there, they happen to have a lot of roles. They're sponsoring left and right.
Thanks.
I have people that I've sent down there personally saying, yo, you don't have to remember. The thing is this, I never said how long you got to stay down there. It is not uncommon for people to go get jobs, getting their clearance sponsored and leaving. Because in the end of the day, it's still a business for you and for them. You got to do what's big. Company's going to do what's best for the business, and you got to do what's best for your career.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, even for me, like, I was so stuck on DC. I was stuck on the DMV, but I lost my job. And then you know what I started doing? Applying to other. I found out there's GovTech in Colorado, Arizona, Utah, what other? Kansas City, Missouri. It's GovTech everywhere. I mean,
literally.
Would you suggest somebody that's like young or somebody that's trying to get into space just apply everywhere? And what's your top places that you would recommend applying to? What areas would you recommend?
So it all personally here's where I tell people, it boils down to what's your job. It really boils down to what's your job. For the most part, DMV. Everybody knows the whole. I'm not gonna put DC, Maryland, Virginia as the top 3 places. I'm gonna put them as one because we all know DMV is DMV. The second place I would say is Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It is booming, and the space command, U.S. Space Command is moving down to Huntsville, Alabama. The housing prices just went up like $40,000 in the last year. So hypothetically, if you bought a house last year, it's now worth $40,000 more than it was last year. And number 3, Florida. Florida is it's the headquarters of SOCOM out there in think Orlando. Orlando's the headquarters of SOCOM. Orlando, Tampa, all that's right there, I think.
Hey,
nevertheless, though,
we'll fact check you later. But
yeah, huge. 1, higher salaries. 2, headquarters of SOCOM. 3, no state taxes. It's a big thing. No state taxes.
I forgot about that one.
And for a lot of people that's in Gov, a lot of people are veterans or know people that are veterans. You got to think about it. Imagine you're in Gov, getting paid a high salary in a place that has no state tax. That is a veteran-friendly place. That plays a huge factor. So just think about that. Now, granted, remember, guys, as I'm saying, the more desirable the place that you want to live usually means a lot more competition. And this is why I harp on you guys to say, hey, listen, if you guys move and go get your clearance, say out there in Wyoming, hypothetically, right? Now that you have your clearance, if you have the specific skill set and you get a job offer, it's going to be significantly easier to move to places like the DMV, significantly easier to places to move that you really want to go to, because now you're not battling trying to have a clearance sponsored in a place that everybody wants to live.
And that's facts, because even when I learned, like, I'm out in different areas now, and I'm hearing like how easily they'll just sponsor. Sometimes they'll sponsor you coming in, like sponsor you for clearance, like straight up. Like that's the first thing they'll do just to make sure you good. So there's nothing wrong with moving. There's nothing wrong with taking opportunity. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm glad that you harped on that, because a lot of people just want to stay where they at. You know?
Oh yeah. Listen, I tell people this all the time, and this is the big thing I tell you guys. If there's one thing to take away is this. The only way to beat inflation is make more money. And you will never make more money being an internal candidate than you will an external.
Facts. Man, that's bar.
Never make more money being an internal candidate than external. And I promise you, because internal, they're only going to bring you up maybe 5%. External, that other company doesn't know your salary. Do what you want with that information.
Yeah, listen to that, because like I said, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you want to stay, work your way up, you can. But a lot of times you have to go out to go get more money, in which he is speaking the truth on that. So Ace, like, a lot of people keep hearing about GovTech. Do you think it's an easy transition, even for you? You've been working in the GovTech space, but you got to understand, when you work in the space, you got to deal with different terminologies. It might be a little bit stricter. Like, can you explain your experience and how you dealt with it, and how would you recommend somebody else to deal with it?
Yeah, no problem. So transitioning to the space it's really not that bad, honestly, for the most part. It really all depends on the type of it really boils down to 2 things. Number 1, what program are you working on? Who are you supporting, and what program are you working on? Because certain agencies or who you're supporting definitely depends on the type of quality of people they'll be around or the work. Like, for example, love the Marine Corps. Marine Corps doesn't like to spend money.
Okay. That's a good
Air Force. I personally like the Air Force. Not against them, just Marine. But Air Force will spend that money on those contracts and pull in some top talent.
Facts.
I promise you. They will, along with the Navy and the Army. Honestly,
Right.
no. It really, in my personal opinion, it goes Air Force, Navy, Army, and everybody else after that is kind of just all the same. But like those, like Air Force will pull some of the top talent because they spend the most money and they're not going to be stingy with their money. So in turn with that, the contracts are usually bigger, which in turn companies that are the ones that are on those contracts can usually pay a lot more. Even in low cola areas, they could pay a lot more just because of how much money the contracts are going to be worth.
Yeah, make sure audience y'all listen to what this man is saying, because be honest with you, I didn't have none of this information, and to be honest with you, this is somebody's, like, this is a consultation right here. I ain't gonna lie to you, but Ace, for another thing, do you think somebody should go private sector before in government space, or do you think that they should try to go straight into government? Because I've been seeing that as I've been working with clients. It's like, should they go private sector? Should they go government? What's your thoughts?
Honestly, I'm a huge advocate for Gov, but I will say this: it's not for everybody. But what I will say is this: what is going to be the best for you, and what type of jobs are you looking for? Because remember, government going to move a lot slower than private sector. Why? Because the government has a lot more things they need. They can't just afford to just run this thing out there and run the risk. There's certain things, there's certain precautions that they have to take. Private sector, it's going to be a lot more on the bleeding and cutting edge of things. So, they could be able to take a lot more risk, going to be a lot faster. Government doesn't move as fast. Doesn't mean it doesn't move fast at all, but it just does not move as fast. My biggest thing I do tell people that's trying to break into government space is break into the government space and get your clearance sponsored as low as a salary as you can. Because, as you know, the private sector tends to pay a little bit more than Gov initially and sometimes down the road, depending on what you do.
Mm-hmm.
What I will tell you is this. Sometimes you can go to be in the private sector, say you're making $150,000. You can make $150,000, right? But now you'd be like, you know what? I think I want to get in the government sector now. You want to get a paid a job that's going to be $150,000. It's not going to be that easy.
Yeah.
Especially wanting a clearance sponsorship on top of that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that easy. That's why I tell people, get in as the lowest possible salary you can, because you could just work your way up. Or on top of that, remember, your clearance, I didn't tell you this, right? Once your clearance is fully adjudicated, and let me break that down for you. This is how the clearance process works. You get a job, they want you have to go fill out something called an SF-86. You fill out the SF-86, they send it to the people to get your investigation started. If everything goes good within the first 10 to 4 weeks, 10 days to 4 weeks, you're going to get what's called an interim clearance. It's pretty much a temporary clearance that you could be able to do the job that you're going to be hired to do. If everything goes good, your clearance will get fully adjudicated. Once your clearance is fully adjudicated, aka the investigation is done, your clearance lasts for, let's say, secret clearance lasts 10 years as long as you're doing government work. However, if you want to step out of Gov and do a non-clear job, your clearance will last 2 years.
2 years.
Calendar date, not business days, 2 years up to its last use. So you could say, for example, I stepped out of Gov 8/3/26.
Mm-hmm.
If I find a job, hypothetically, I say I left the Gov and I didn't do a clear job up until 8/1/28, my clearance will still be active. Clearance would still be active, and I can just jump back in. And once you do a job that's going to be cleared at that time, that 2-year calendar date restarts. Now, just be sure to not leave or something along that nature when it's your reinvestigation year. Please don't do that. And also, secret clearance is the one that is at every 10 years. Top secret and above is every 5.
Hey, listen, Ace. I was a background investigator, and everything you said is legit. So, make sure y'all listen to what he's saying, because it's very few people that I get that question a lot too. Like, when is it clear? I say, man, once you leave, man, you got 2 years. Just know you got 2 years, man. So,
he's 2 years.
It's nothing but bars. So, Ace, like, and we're going. What are some entry level jobs you think somebody should focus on in the GovTech space, and just name some positions, and then if it's not GovTech, are there some entry levels they can get in without it being GovTech, or what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so on the GovTech side of things, some entry level positions could be anything between junior system administrator, help desk, junior vulnerability analyst, junior ISSOs. The reason you guys didn't hear me say junior SOC analyst, because listen, hear me out. There are junior positions, but cybersecurity as a whole is not entry level. Listen, you wouldn't hire you right now to protect your bank account. So You know what I'm saying? Nothing against you, but it's just not. Does it happen? Yes. Does it happen often? Not really. So that's why I already include that. But yeah, those are some positions. And the things about those positions, they'll kind of build on top of each other per se, right? The reason I tell people, say, listen, also, if you can, go on site, go hybrid. People look at me like, why would I want to go outside? I want to go remote. I'm going to tell you this. When you're working in a lot of these defense spaces, you're not just working in like, okay, I'm working this box. You're usually working in what's called a skiff, which is pretty much a secure room. There's other people working in that room usually. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be surrounded by a lot of people. You may have sysadmins right here. You may have cloud engineers over there. You may have ISSOs over here. You may have red team back here, hypothetically. And being in proximity to those people, number one, networking. Talk to those people. You never know who they know. You never know who. Hear me out. I'm going to tell you this right now. You'll never know who you'll run into, who you may need a referral from later on.
Facts. Man, yeah.
You'll never know who you'll need a referral from later on.
You won't, man.
You never know. You never know. Life is full of ups and downs.
Ace, that goes to show you got to treat. And remember what I told you at the beginning. You helped a lot of people, so they're gonna help you. So you know what I'm saying. You never know when you might need that person. So you got to treat people good. All people. You don't never know where they're gonna go.
Literally, it's been crazy. Like I've gotten people placed into, honestly, every major defense company you could think of. I've gotten people placed from Enduro.
Oh, that's a good.
Enduro. I got multiple people placed in Enduro, but I've helped multiple people get the jobs in Enduro, and pretty much down. Literally Enduro down. It's insane, you know. And people like, yo, Ace, you know, if you ever need a referral, let me know. I'm like, I pray I don't, but if I do, thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Man, Ace killing it, man. Hey, listen, this is nothing but bars. Ace, and I know I've been kind of just asking you questions, man, just because I never even got to that point. How did you get your foot in the door? Kind of elaborate a little bit on that, just so I can hear about yourself.
Yeah, no problem. So I was in the United States Marine Corps. You know, being in there, I was like, okay, I got to be able to work with some of the cyber guys. You know what I'm saying? It was not my job. Don't get me wrong. It was not my job, but I got to be able to work with some of the cyber guys. I was super blessed. Unit and leadership allowed me to do that, right? From there, you know, being around those type of people and then being able to be around contractors, getting to pick their brain to see, okay, you know, I'm getting out, you know, in X amount of years, what's some stuff that I should do? And here's the thing about being in the military, guys, is that anybody could tell you if you only did one contract, it's the longest 4 years of your life until you're about to get out. When you're in that last year, you're just like, oh, dang, what am I about to get into? What am I about to do? So me, I was like, okay, I was conflicted between going to two different paths. I said, should I continue to do this or should I, you know, do something else? And I was like, all right, you know, trying to just figure out what it is and what to do. And I was like, all right, you know what? Let's continue down cyber. And from there, I just been foot on gas ever since. Foot on gas because, listen, again, the only way to beat inflation is make more money. The only way to beat inflation is make more money. Money works for you, so make sure you save and invest. This not
and that's the biggest bar. Like, you make all this money in tech, but you gotta invest. Even for myself, you know it better than me at your age. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I just wish I would have invested more into things that make me money with the salary again. That's a whole nother topic. But Ace, like, also too, what I would kind of ask, you know, we got AI, we got all these different things in the GovTech space coming. You know about it. What is it going to hurt your opportunities or create more opportunities? I think it's going to create more opportunities because more risks, more cybersecurity.
Honestly, it's going to do a little bit of both. AI makes things significantly easier, but it does automate some certain roles. Like, for example, again, government's going to be a lot slower adopting things. We all know this government's going to be a lot slower adopting things. But this is why I tell people, say, listen, if you're in an analyst position or something along that nature, please work hard and get in and out of those positions, try to get more into engineering positions as possible, right? Because, you know, certain lower level positions, like, for example, tier 1 help desk, you know, depending on what it is, you know, it could end up being, I could see it being automated in the next couple of years, just along with like level 1 SOC analyst. I can see that being automated in the next couple of years. You know what I'm saying? May not be fully automated out, but it's going to reduce the number. It may not be fully automated, but could definitely reduce the amount of positions that are available. So, you know what I'm saying? Please keep that in mind. However, on the contrary, it's going to create a lot of different jobs. We are in like the Bitcoin of the job market.
Facts.
Like the amount of people that's getting rich off AI it's insane right now. Because you got to think about it. Think about how many B2B SaaS businesses that popped up and sold for millions of dollars. Like the stuff that's happening right now, you guys are gonna say it's like when Bitcoin went popping. Oh, I wish I got into it now. This is the time. Here's the thing also about AI, guys, that you guys don't understand. There is no even front runner for AI when it comes to certifications either. Like people are dropping certifications, you know what I'm saying? People are dropping certifications, but here, like for example, RevT certifications. Everybody know one of the best RevT certifications is OSCP.
Yeah.
Who are you gonna say has the best AI certification?
Nobody.
It's too new. It's too. You can't say anybody. It's too new. So like an opportunity like this comes once in a generation. You have to hop on it, and you have to know how to use AI. Here's the thing: at least know how to use it to make your job easier. You don't need to sit here and be a AI engineer. You don't need to sit here and know how to create your own LLM. You don't have to do all those things, but you need to know how to use it to make 1, your life easier, 2, make more money, 3, help you with your job. Help you with your job, not do your job.
Yeah, like even me, Ace. I have a friend that works at a very big company. He uses AI to create compliance tools. I use AI to make Excel sheets to make my job easier. I might not have an EMAS all the time, so I ain't gonna lie. I'm using AI. How do I do this? How do I build this? And then when I go to my jobs, they look at me like I'm amazing, but really, I'm just figuring it out, man. So
everybody just figuring it out.
Yeah. Also, too, Ace, like, what are some of the biggest mistakes? I made some big mistakes getting to GovTech. What are some of the biggest mistakes people make when they first get in? And I would just say one for myself. I see everybody posting all the information about what's going on, man. Be careful about what you're posting too.
I'm gonna tell you, man. I'll put it like this. Number 1, don't post a day in the life. Please don't post day in the life. Just avoid it. I mean, like. All it takes for you to show something on the screen that you don't need to show when your clearance gets revoked. It's that serious. Number 1, if you're in GovTech and you post a day in the life, hypothetically, anybody that's really in the defense space knows most people work in a skiff.
Yeah.
Automatically, people are going to think you're working in a skiff just off the nature of this industry. And you post a day in the life, ain't a good look. Number 1, it's not a good look. Number 2, not negotiating. Not negotiating. Or thinking your worth is way too high. Because I'm going to tell you this. There was one time at one of my jobs, I found out this person and I were doing the same type of job. He was getting paid $83,000 more than I was.
Man, that's
$83,000 more than I was.
80. That's a lot of money, man.
That's somebody else. Like nothing getting. That is not no small chunk of change.
No.
$83,000 more than I was.
Man,
I'm gonna hate on him. You know what I'm saying? What I did? I reached right out to him. I said, "Yo, how did you negotiate this? How did you? You know what I'm saying? And take those skills and continue to move on when it's time for you to go into your next venture. Because somebody's doing better than you doesn't mean you got to hate on them. They could teach you something that you had no idea you could possibly learn. As long as 1, you're teachable. 2, you're humble, and 3, they're willing to teach you.
Yeah, listen, everybody's willing to teach you as long as you don't got all the answers. Because if you got all the answers, they don't got nothing to say to you. You know what I'm saying? So even with me, I'm learning so much just asking. I thought I knew about GovTech, and this man Ace dropping some bars to me. And the best thing Ace said to me just now, like even with me, I was like a younger, and I found out they was making the same amount of money doing the same job, but they like to keep these titles, and I'm like, so I'm doing the same work you're doing, but you got this. Nah, I'm about to ask for that same salary the next time, and that's what I did. I said, we about to be. Listen, I'm gonna ask. At least ask. They can at least tell you no.
And if they tell you no, listen, you better have a rebuttal.
Yeah.
You better have because remember, guys, listen, especially if you're already cleared. And here's the thing, I'm gonna tell you this right now. company's going to the goal of a company is to get the top talent for the least amount of salary possible. If they could not pay you at all, they won't.
Facts.
Your goal as an individual contributor is to get paid the maximum salary that you can. When you're negotiating, when you're talking about roles over 100, 150, maybe 200, you better not start I want to get an extra 5K. Start at 25, 30,000. Obviously, know yourself and know what you have to offer and know the role and things of that nature. But think about that. Like, I'm talking, you could be 5 years of experience, top secret with a degree, 200K in the DMV.
Facts.
And depending on your skill set, it could be even more. Most I have ever seen personally was about 300 something thousand. Granted, it was requiring a full scope, but single W-2 role, $300,000 plus.
And we just talking. This is a whole nother topic, but imagine if you work for yourself and on your own government contract. Man,
yeah, you could have your own government contracts. You can compete for government contracts like everybody else. Like, and there's government contracts set aside. A website's called SAM.gov. There's government contracts set aside for specifically small businesses.
Facts.
And remember, sometimes you don't got to be the sole person. You can just sit here and just try to piece of a bit larger contract and work your way up. One of these dudes that I follow, really good name. His name is Fox, Black Fox, just won a piece of $50 or $100 million contract. U.S. Army veteran. Watched him sit here, just win more and more and more contracts, and now he just sit here and got to. And here's the thing about government contracts, y'all. Quote me if I'm wrong. Please tell me if I'm wrong. You might have to fact check me. But listen, I think you are considered a small business if you're not bringing in at least $50 million a year for the government.
I'm not sure. I think it's like 20, but I think it's like 20 something. But like, you a small business. I think it's under 20, but I gotta fact check that.
Yeah, I'm about to say I think it may be 50, maybe 20. I'm not. 50 sounds a little bit egregious. Sounds a little bit far fetched. But listen, it's a tens of millions. You're still considered a small business. Under $10 million, you're considered a small business. Let that sink in.
Yeah, I think you can have over, and then don't quote me on this either. I think it's like over 50 employees. But yeah, it's so much money out here for the government. But again, it's not for everybody. But if you trying to get into it, it's there. So Ace, I wanted to ask a question. Just to kind of slowly close it out. If you were talking to somebody, say you're talking to me, I don't know nothing about nothing. I'm trying to get in the government GovTech space in within a year. Give me just a quick breakdown on how would I get into GovTech? What's like a plan? What would you tell me?
So the first thing I'm gonna ask you is this. Number one, how much research have you done? And the biggest reason I ask that question is because everybody wants to do something. We have these small little things in our pockets that you can pretty much access anything you want to, search up almost anything you want to. The first thing I'm going to ask you is how much research have you done? And the reason is because how much research have you done sometimes will kind of tell you how serious you are. Because if you really want to find something out, you really could just Google it. But in this government space where it's not as publicized, first thing I'm going to tell you this, get your Security Plus. I don't care how you feel. Get your Security Plus. You can get your Security Plus within 90 days. If you know absolutely nothing about computers, that's a different ball game. But like for the most part of people know about computers, they just don't know the security. Get your Security Plus. After you get Security Plus, start researching things that you may want to do later on in your career. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. If you want to maybe potentially go cloud or something, you may want to potentially go vulnerability management. And then from there, use those to kind of build projects. Projects is how you showcase experience if you have none. Get those projects. Post them on GitHub. GitHub is a place you can showcase your projects and post those same things on LinkedIn. Show the world what you're working on. Show the good. Careful about showing the bad. Because it's, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to sit here and make yourself like you seem like you show the struggles. Don't show the bad, show the struggles. You know what I'm saying? From there, then it's just a numbers game. Applying, reaching out to people, applying, being open to moving, working on your interview game. Because interviewing is a skill like anything else. Some people haven't interviewed in years. Think about, you know what I'm saying, you got to know these and also know some of the material that you learn off the top of your head. Like if you're in an interview, certain basic things they're not going to let slide. even in the beginning, somebody asks you what's the difference between TCP and UDP. You know what I'm saying? For all people on the vulnerability side, what's the difference between a credential scan and a non-credential scan?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For example, like on me on the IM side, what's the JML process, the join and move reliever process, things along that nature. Those are certain basics that you need to know. So that's where interviewing comes in, because you got to make sure you get the basics, get the more advanced, but you got to hone your skills. After that, once you get your job, remember when I told you what jobs you want to go for? Now you start executing that plan that you're clear. Now that your clearance is getting sponsored, start executing that plan. Go follow those certifications that's going to get you to that role you end up wanting to get into. For example, you want to be a cloud engineer. Go get those certifications. Go look for the AWS Solutions Architect. Go look for the Azure Security Engineer. Go look for the potential AZ 104, things along nature. Follow that thing that you had set in stone. Look for the certifications. Look for the final position and backtrack.
Man.
And we never said it's going to take you a day. Shoot, it may not even take you a year or two. Sometimes it could take you 3 years, 4 years, potentially.
It took me a year or some change. It takes time. It took me almost 2 years. It took me almost a year or some change just to get the security plus. Probably like 2 years. I was off and on.
Yeah, like I said, and as he told you, off and on. You know what I'm saying? If you can, stay as disciplined as you possibly can. Because remember, there's a thing called opportunity cost. If you're off and on sometimes, that may cost you opportunity. It may not be right now. But for example, Chris can tell you the same thing about me. There are times where I want to throw one of my guys or somebody I seen a position. Oh yeah, and I talk about this will be the perfect position for them.
Thanks.
But they may have put off a certain certification, or they may have put off a degree. And I know, I said, look, I can't even put your name in the basket because you don't have what I told you to go get. And now I might have to toss it to somebody else, which is not a problem. But it's like, listen, stay ready so you don't get ready.
Man.
Please. Because it may not be today. It may not be today. But like, for example, if there's a role that I'm saying, you know what? I think Chris will do great in this role. I know the certifications that Chris has. So therefore, all it takes is double check it. Bro, you got this cert? Yeah. All right, bet. Check your email. I'm going to send you a referral. Because he stayed ready. Yeah. You never know when the next job might come around. You could entertain them all. Nobody ever says you got to leave your job. Nobody ever says you can't sit here and, entertain an interview, see what you always want to test the market. You never know what's out there. But you got to stay ready.
Yes, and like even with me, when I was in the job hunt, they asked me to have my CSSP. No, I can't give you opportunity. So you're right. You gotta stay ready, because when somebody give you opportunity, they're gonna give it to somebody else. I've been in it, even myself. I'm like, hey, you got this? You got this? No. All right. So like, send it to somebody else or send it to somebody I know. So that's what you got to do, Ace. And so we're gonna slowly, man. Ace, you spread a lot of bars. I hope they listen. But Ace, I know you're on a journey. I checked your TikTok before. I know you're on a journey to make $100K outside of GovTech. So what I will tell the audience, I don't support too many people, but I'm gonna support this young brother. Make sure you check him out. Hit him up on TikTok, Instagram, and I'm gonna let him say his stuff. But make sure you check him out for consulting. Don't just get consulting, just get paid consulting. Check him out. He deserves any penny. This man is a hard worker, and if you pay him, he will make sure he does everything he can to get him in this space. So if you're trying to get into GovTech, make sure you check out Ace. But Ace, where can they find you at?
Listen, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok, Ace, WITDA Spade. And ironic how he tells you about consulting. Genuinely, I don't even offer a paid service. But I don't even offer a paid service. Genuinely, sometimes I just do this just for the love of the game. There's not a lot of people like this. Is it going to be like this forever? Absolutely not. Time is valuable and time is money. But nevertheless, there's not a lot of people that look like us in this space. All I want to do is help people get into this space. So nevertheless, y'all, I'm always here to help you guys. I'm not going to sit here and chat with you 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get to the point. But nevertheless, I'm always willing to lend a helping hand to people who want to help themselves. Please don't want to help themselves. If you're not wanting to help yourself, please don't bother think I'm going to help you.
Yeah. I'm gonna just say this: Ace do what he want to do. He offered. I mean, he said he'll do it for free, but just make sure you offer to pay him something and make an Ace for yourself. Charge something because I think you deserve. I learned a lot from you, and you do what you want to do for that. But I respect you, bro. I respect everything that you're doing, brother.
Man, listen. One of my biggest things I tell people, I said, listen, I don't deserve anything in this life. Nothing. I deserve nothing in this life. However, I'm just happy I'll be able to do things. Because what makes me deserving more than the next person?
I agree.
I look human just like the next person. I just happen to have a skill. Sometimes I want to charge for my time. Sometimes I don't. But the biggest thing is this. If I'm willing to lend a helping hand, just let me lend a helping hand.
Okay, now I got you. And then all glory to God, man. And
Amen.
I respect. That's the most humblest answer I've ever heard. So all glory to God. You know, reach out to him. And Ace, one last thing. To anybody on it, what is one quote, one statement that you want to give to the audience just so they can keep going on their journey?
I'm going to tell you this right now. And if anybody that's ever talked to me, I'm going to tell you this. And this is the one thing I tell people. World keeps spinning. Bill's still doing the first. And let me tell you how crazy this is. I'm going to tell y'all, mind you guys, right? When you get your first role, Chris will tell you this. Right? When you got your first role, sometimes the role may not pay that much. Am I wrong? First role,
you ain't making no money. You ain't making no money.
What? When you got that offer, you start that second job, right? All that stuff that happened in the past, world kept spinning. Now you got this new job, world kept spinning. Bills were still doing the first. Whether you had 50K, whether you had 200K, whether you had the greatest day of your life, or whether you genuinely have the worst day of your life, guess what? The world keeps spinning and the bills is still due on the first. So once you kind of realize that, it's like, listen, man, I'm grateful, but bad times don't last that often. Don't last. And if you ever hit rock bottom, just know you can't go any lower.
Yeah.
Just know you can't go any lower.
Hey, Ace, you know what? Let me tell you. What you just said is when I was unemployed, and I was unemployed for a while. And you know what? I kept remembering the world is literally it become day, it become night. The world keeps spinning, the grass is growing. People still, you got to go make something happen, man. And if you're at the bottom, you can't go nowhere lower.
If you at rock bottom, you can't go lower. I promise you can't go lower. The only thing you can do is look up. You're already on the ground. Just look up. And then listen, like I'm telling people, listen, also one last tidbit. Please have money set aside for emergencies. I mean, we mean this wholeheartedly. Like, for example, government space, for the most part, contracting is pretty safe. Obviously, there's things like recompetes that come around. It's a different ball game. But for example, we all see what happens sometimes to federal workers where they may get furloughed. We tell you guys, as making the money is only as good as how much you can keep. Facts. Have a 6-month savings. Have a 6-month emergency fund. And also, guys, I'm gonna tell you this because a lot of people really don't know this. There's insurances, payment protection insurance. People don't know about these types of insurances. There is insurance specifically for you. Is if you ever lose your job, they will pay your bills for X amount of time. Please look into all the. If you think there's not an insurance, there's an insurance for it. Promise you. And with this type of day and age, the insurance may take 30 days, 60 days to get into. But look at these types of things. I promise you, some of my rich homies tell me these very same things. Like, oh, I didn't even know these were insurances at one point. But guess what? No, nobody gets insurance to be like, yeah, I don't need it. That's the point of insurance. Because guess what? The insurance may cost, let's say hypothetically, right? $100 a month. Man, it's an extra $100, blah, blah, blah. But God forbid you lose your job. How much is rent? How much is your rent and your car? How much is your rent, your car, and food? Just look into all these different things. And very last thing, if you can, please make a second stream of income. Please. One is too close to zero. I don't care if it's coaching. I don't care if it's social media. I don't care if it's consulting. Just do something that's going to help you get a second stream of income. We're in a day and age where it's insane. It's very easy to have a second stream of income. You can generally pop your phone up and record and make hundreds of thousands, or not thousands of dollars.
Facts.
This little thing right here, there's people that became millionaires or 100,000aires just off this.
I mean,
just off a phone. You're on your phone 6, 7, 8 hours a day anyway. And if you think and if you say, "Oh no, I'm not going to your screen time," you'll see it yourself. You're on your phone for hours a day. Please go make a second stream of income. It's only going to help you. And if you know what I'm saying, it's only going to help you. And who knows? Sometimes your second stream may replace your first one, or make even more. But you never know that unless you try it. So please,
let me tell you something, Ace. I started Tech Woke Podcast with this phone, like literally. I used to just film it literally with just the phone, so he ain't saying nothing lying. And the reason why I was able to sustain myself is with savings, but also I was able to pull in money from all the various different incomes I have right now. So you ain't speaking no mind. And that insurance you talking about for paycheck, I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, there's so many different insurances that people don't know about that, I just been around the way for a little minute, and this is what happens when you just start talking. I talk a lot. I talk to people. You never know what they're going to tell you, but just make sure, remember, listen twice.
Yeah, I'm listening to Ace. I am listening to Ace, and Ace is killing it. So I wanted to say, Ace, man, listen, man. I don't say this too often. I appreciate every guest that come on Tech World Podcast, but you really killed it. I really learned a lot for myself, and I pray that the audience takes this information and really does something with it. So I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, Ace, man. Man, you're a great dude.
I'm blessed the fact that I was able to be invited in the first place, man. I love to help the people. Life be busy, but I just said, listen, man, I gotta make it for my guy Chris. Gotta make it for my guy Chris.
Thank you. And the next time you need it, I'll be there for you. So just let me know what you need. So
Roger that.
Remember, everybody, get 1% better every day. Remember, check out RMF Academy. Subscribe to the channel. Comment down below and share it to somebody that need it. So keep checking it out, and thank you, Ace. Peace out, everybody. We're gonna see you on the next one.
Y'all be smooth.